Hello everyone. So today we are going to continue from the previous class for design of pile cap. So in the previous class we have discussed about how to calculate the depth. We have found out that the overall depth to be assumed for our case is 820 mm, and the effective depth that we have calculated is 654 mm. Now we will go for the designing due to flexure. So let's go into this. First we will now check for design for flexure reinforcement. Okay, so if you remember the case of our pile, where this, suppose this is the column, this is the pile cap, this is the pile, sorry, this is the footing and this is the pile cap, and we have four numbers of piles somewhere here and here. Okay, four numbers of piles, something like this. Now if you remember, while designing for isolated footing, the moment is basically calculated at the face of the column, right? So similarly here also the same thing we have to do. Now you have to find out the moment at the face of the column. So if we see the plan that is so far we have considered, we have a pile cap, we have a column over here, we have a pile, four numbers of piles of 300 mm dia, and we denoted that this is C, which is the clear distance C. dp is nothing but the diameter of the pile. So if I want to find out the moment at the face of the column, then it will be moment mu is equal to whatever reaction. So we have on this direction we have two piles, so two reactions will come, 2 into r, and the distance is basically c plus dp by 2. Okay, so this is what we have done here. So the moment that we have calculated is come out to be 800 kilonewton meter. Okay, now we will now find out how many numbers of reinforcement bars will be required. So for that, let us assume the whole width of the pile cap, which is 2400. This is b we have assumed as 2400. Then effective depth we have already found out, that is 654 mm. FCK for pile cap is given M25, right? If you remember, the FCK for pile cap is given M25. For column and pile, for column and pile, it was M30. Okay, remember? So in the question itself, it was mentioned that the pile cap is of M20 grade and piles and columns are M30 grade. Now FCK, as we are designing for the pile cap, so it is M25 and Fy is 415. So if you find out the area required as per the equation, then this is the equation that we have used previously also. This is 0.5 FCK by Fy, that is AST by BD, is equal to whole into 1 minus root over 1 minus 4.598 mu by FCK B D square. This was the equation to find out the steel. So we are using this equation, and the area required comes out to be around 3519 mm square. Okay, 3519 mm square of area required. Now as we are providing for the whole section, whole pile, so we can find out directly the numbers of reinforcement that is required, not and there is no need to find out the spacing, but we have to check for the spacing. But as we have taken B directly, so we can directly find out how many numbers of bars will be required. But before that, we also have to check for what is the minimum requirement, AST minimum. Basically the reinforcement requirement for footing is same as that of a solid slab. Okay, For solid slab, if you remember, it is 0.12%. The same thing that will be considered for the minimum steel of a pile cap or any footing, which is 0.002, 0.0012 into B into D. So it comes out to B is basically 2400, D is basically 840 probably. That what D we have assumed. Sorry, 8. I think it was capital D was 820 mm. So here the minimum steel required is around 2362 mm square. This much of steel is required, minimum steel. Basically the required steel is obviously more than minimum steel. And also, if you remember, while finding out the tau c value, we have assumed that the pile cap is provided with a reinforcement of 0.25%, right? So let's see for 25% how many numbers of area of bar is required, and which comes out to be around 4920 mm square, which is basically more than what is required. But if I provide more than the required, obviously it will be safe. Also it will be in line with what we have assumed for calculation of tau c, and which in turn governs the depth of the pile cap, right? So that is why we are going to provide, that is T is a assumed, that is what we have considered. So we are going to provide 4920 mm square of steel in the pile cap. So let's find out the numbers of bars that will be required. That is A assumed we have considered is the maximum one, divided by the cross sectional area of 16 mm bar, assuming 16 mm bar for the reinforcement. It comes out to be 24.4. So let us provide 25 numbers of bars. Now we have to check whether if we provide 25 numbers of bars, the spacing criteria is satisfied or not. So for that, let's find out the spacing. So the total width of the pile cap is 2400 mm. Then we have 25 numbers of 16 mm bars, so that is what we have subtracted, 25 into 16 mm, minus assuming clear cover, or suppose effective cover, what say clear cover is of 75 mm. So 2 into 75 for both the side I have subtracted, divided by 25 minus 1, and it comes out to be 77.084 mm, and which is considerable for our design. Okay, so it is okay. So this spacing is considerable, so 25 numbers of bars we can provide. Now after basically this reinforcement will be provided in this direction. Suppose this is the pile cap, then this reinforcement will be provided like this, okay, in a mesh form, okay. So the spacing will be basically if I am providing 16 Tor bar at the rate, suppose 70 mm center to center, this is the spacing that we have to provide. Now apart from that, we also have to check for the development length, because you know that the action, say suppose this is the cross section of a footing or any pile cap, suppose because of the reaction force over here, it will bend something like this, and these bars will be in tension. And also if the development length criteria is not satisfied, then what might happen, that the steel might come out of the concrete. Okay, so development length criteria should be satisfied at the face of the column. That means the length that is embedded inside the pile cap is sufficient, or it should be more than the development length required. Otherwise what will happen, the reinforcement will come out when this kind of bending is occurring in the pile cap. Okay, so for development length, I think you remember the equation. It is 0.87 Fy into phi by 4 tau Bd, right? So where Fy is the grade of the steel and Ld is the length that is required to yield. Basically that is the length that should be inside a concrete block, so that when you try to pull out, it will not come outside of the, it will not come out of the concrete without yielding, means it will yield before coming out. Okay, so that was the concept. So if we put the values, okay, before that, for if we look into the clause 26.2.1, which is where you can find a tau bd value for M25 grade. Tau bd value is basically 1.4. And also in the clause there was a mention that if you are using HYSD bar, you can increase the tau bd value by 1.6 times, that is 60% in enhancement of the tau bd value can be made if you are using a high yield strength deform bars. So you can remember, or you can revisit the code clause number 26.2.1 of IS 456. There you will get everything, and we have already discussed in your previous class or in your previous semester also. So if you put the values, the development length come out to be around 645 mm. Now we have to check whether this is already available to us or not. Okay, that means suppose this is the column, this is the pile. Okay, so the column width is already given to you, that is 500. The whole width is 2400, right? So we need to find out what is this distance. Okay, because within this distance basically we are going to provide the reinforcement, and this distance should satisfy, or this distance should be such that it should be more than the LD required for the particular bar. Okay, so you have to find this distance. So this can be found out by 2400 minus 500 by 2, which comes out to be around 950 mm. Even if we subtract the clear cover of 75 mm, so it will be around 800 something, and which is basically more than what LD required. So if we provide the bars without any hook or something, then I think it will take care of the development length criteria. Okay, so as this is the condition, LD is less than L, so the development length criteria is satisfied. Okay, so now let's go to the another check, or you can say this is the last check that we have to do, that is a transfer of force at the column base. Basically what is happening, you can see that there is a column and there is a pile cap, right? And there are piles also. So basically what is happening, that the column is transferring the load to the pile cap, and then pile cap is transferring the load to the piles. So far we have discussed that we assuming that the transfer of load is there is no problem with the transfer of load, but we also have to check whether the transfer of the load is whether the structure or the joint is able to transfer the load. Because if the transfer of the load is not happening, then all our moment calculation and shear force calculation, these are of no use. This has no meaning. So transfer of the force, to check for the bearing strength, this is also called the bearing strength, is very important. So we'll look into this. So we have already considered this particular clause while we were designing the isolated footing as well. So in that case also we have considered the clause number 34.4. There is a transfer of load at the base of the column. Okay, here it is mentioned, the compressive stress in concrete at the base of a column or pedestal should be considered as being transferred by bearing at the top of the supporting pedestal of the footing. The bearing pressure on the loaded area shall not exceed the permissible bearing stress in direct compression multiplied by the value equal to root over A1 by A2. So the value equal to root over A1 by A2 but not greater than 2. Okay, so this should be calculated, where A1 basically the supporting area and A2 is basically the loaded area. And the for working stress method of design, the permissible bearing stress on full area of concrete shall be taken as 0.25 FCK. For limited method of design, the permissible bearing stress should be 0.45 FCK. Okay, so basically the equation is nothing but 0. If I the equation if I write for HYSD bar or limit state method, sorry, in case of limit state method it is 0.45 ck root over a1 by a2, where this value should not be more than 2. Okay, this is what we have to do. So let's look into some other clauses as well. So clause number 34.4.1 says that where the permissible bearing stress on the concrete in the supporting or the supported member would be exceeded, reinforcement shall be provided for developing of excess forces. That means, suppose in your case, PU is the load which was 4000 kilonewton. That is, this is the load that is coming to the column, and a permissible bearing stress, permissible bearing force. Suppose you got 3000. Okay. So in that case, what is happening here? That means the load is coming is more, but the bearing stress or bearing force of the structure, the joint is less. In that case, we have to provide extra reinforcement to transfer the additional load of 1000. Okay, which is as per clause 34.4.1 by providing dowel bars. Then clause number 34.4.2 says where transfer of force is accomplished by reinforcement, the development length of the reinforcement shall be sufficient to transfer the compression or tension in the supporting member in accordance with 26.2. So when this is the case, that means we have to provide the reinforcement. Then we have to check whether this reinforcement is sufficient to transfer the load. Okay, considering the development length criteria. That means the whatever reinforcement that you are providing to take care of this urgent unit, you have to check for development length. Okay, then the next clause is 34.4.3 extended longitudinal reinforcement or dowel of at least 0.5% of the cross-section area of the support of the supported column or pedestal, and a minimum of 4 bars shall be provided. Where the dowels are used, their diameter shall not exceed the diameter of the column bars by more than 3 mm. So basically it restricts or it gives you the minimum reinforcement that should be provided at the bearing surface. This is 0.5%, 0.5% or minimum 4 numbers of bars should be required, and the diameter of the bar uh, should not be more than 3 mm than that of bar of the column. That means if the column we have 25 mm, we can go for 28 mm, not more than that for doweling action. Okay. Then clause number 34.4.4 says column bars of diameters larger than 36 mm in compression only can be dwelled at the footings with bars of smaller size of necessary area. Okay. If this is the case, we have to provide smaller diameter bars. The dowel shall extend to the column a distance equal to the development length of the column bar and into the footing a distance equal to the development length of the dowel. That means if this is the case where we are using the bar diameters of the column is more than 36 mm, whatever dowel bar that you are providing, suppose these are the dowel bar you are providing, then this length should be equal to LD as well as this length should be equal to LD. Both the length should be LD. That means total length of the dowel bar will be 2 LD. This case, I think this case should be followed for all other kind of columns also. The nominal reinforcement that already I have told you that the minimum reinforcement and spacing shall be as per the requirement of the solid stack, which is 0.12%. Then for nominal reinforcement for concrete sections of thickness greater than 1 meter shall be 360 mm square per meter length of each direction on each face. This provision does not supersede the requirement of minimum tensile reinforcement based on depth of the section. So basically these are the clauses which are required. So that is why I thought to let you know about all these clauses. Okay, so let's go into our calculations. Now, as we are talking about the bearing stress of the joint between the column and the pile cap, so let's find out the bearing force. So for that, actually, we have to consider two cases. Suppose this is the column, this is the pile. So we have to consider two phase basically. That means one is column phase where both A1 and A2 are the area cross-sectional area of the column. Okay, and the secondly we have to consider the pile cap phase. In that case, A1 will be the area of the pile cap, and A2 is the area of the column. Okay, the A1 will be the area of the pile cap and A2 will be the area of the column. And that means while finding out the bearing forces, you have to consider two cases, at the column face as well as at the pile cap face. Understood? So first of all, let's find out at the column face. So here A1 and A2 both will be the dimension of the column. That means 500 mm square. Then FCK column is already provided, which is M30, that is 300 MPa. And if we find out A1 by A2 here, then it becomes 1, so it is less than 2, so it is okay. So if you find out the maximum bearing stress for the column, it comes out to 0.4 FCK put over A1 by A2, it is 13.5. Okay. Now in the next case we will see the for pile cap. Okay, so for pile cap face, here A1 is a supporting width. Supporting width is here the pile cap width itself, or the area cross section of the pile cap itself, which is 2400 mm square. This is supporting column is supported by the pile cap, so area of the pile cap will be there. So 2400 mm square, and A2 is the of the support, that means the column is 500 mm square. And if you do this, A1 by A2 is come out to be 4.8, which is more than 2. So this A1 by A2 should be taken as 2 here. Okay, FCK is 25. Why FCK 25 is for pile cap? Because we are now considering the pile cap face. That is why it is M25. Initially it was column face, so that was it was M30. Here we are considering pile cap face, so it was M25. Okay, put the value of M25. I mean it comes out to be 22.5. Now check, one case we are getting 13.5, one case we are 22.5. Which is the more critical case? Your critical case is this one, right? 13.5, because it gives a lower value. So as we are considering the strength, so lower strength should be considered for the design. So it is 13.5 is the critical case. So what we will do, the column here, the design, in this design the column face basically governs, so which is 13.5. The limiting bearing resistance, becomes, if you convert the stress to force, it becomes FBR max of the column into 500 square, which is come out to be 3375 kilonewton. But what is the load in the column? That is 4000 kilonewton, right? You can see the load, that is the bearing strength of the column face is basically 3375, but the load that is coming is 4000 kilonewton. So that means what? The bearing stress is basically less than 2. So as per the clause we have just now discussed, that if this is the condition, then we have to provide reinforcement or dowel bars. So before going for providing additional dowel bars, we can try to extend the column bars itself. That means, I think you already know how the reinforcements are provided. The column bar, you can extend it right inside the footing, inside the pile cap. So we have to first check whether if we extend the column bars, it can take the additional load. Okay, that is 4000 minus 3375. The additional load can it be taken by the extended column bars into the pile cap. So here it is written, for a bearing resistance is less than column load, so excess amount of load should be transferred through reinforcement, right? So what is the excess amount of load over here? It is 625, and here we have in the column, it is mentioned that we have 8 numbers of 25 mm bars. So we have 8 bars, so total load is this much. So this divided by 8 will give you the load on each bar, which is 78 kilonewton on each bar. Okay, Now if I find out the stress on its bar, it is the force by the cross-sectional area of the bar, which comes out to be 159 MPa. Now the thing is, the bar is Fe415, right? So obviously it can take this 159. But now the case is whether this reinforcement that you are providing, which you are extending from the column, whether this development length criteria is satisfied or not. Okay. So in the development length criteria, equation was 0.87 Fy 5 by 4 tau Bd, right? This was actually the stress in the steel during yielding, right? That means while yielding, how much of length required for to take care of the load, which is equal to or take care of the stress, which is equal to 0.87 Fy. This much of development length is required to take care of 0.87 Fy stress. This LD kind of development length is required. Now here the force the reinforcement should take is 159, right? So corresponding to 115, and how much development length is required, that is important to find out. So in this case, what we will do, we will just replace this 0.87 Fy, we'll just replace 0.87 Fy with this sigma bar into 5 by 4 tau Bd. Then we will try to find out this whether this length is available to us or not. Okay, this is nothing but this value, whether this length is available to us or not. Okay, so same development length equation, but only change the 0.87 Fy is replaced with the sigma bar, and it comes out to be 355.437 mm. So this much of length is required, and probably this is already available to us because the actual depth is provided to you, which is basically here for M25 it is this is for the development length criteria, and here you can see the available vertical embedment of the footing is basically this is the development this is the effective depth of the footing. So this much of depth is already available to us for embedment of our reinforcement from the column face inside the pile cap. So LD that we have provided is 355. So basically this is this LD is less than D, so that means this space is available for us for providing the reinforcement, so it is okay. That means if we provide or extend the reinforcement inside the column pile cap, then it will be able to take, or it will be able to transfer the load sufficiently without hampering the bearing of the joint, or bearing condition can be made satisfied. Okay, so minimum requirement. Now we have to check for the minimum requirement of the steel, which is also we have discussed in the clause 34.4.3, which is 5%, sorry 0.5%. So let's see that at the interface, if I consider a column which is this much of reinforcement is required, that is 1250 mm square, and at the interface, if I see here, we have already extended the reinforcement of the column, that is basically available is 8 into the total area of the reinforcement, that is 8 numbers of 25 mm bars, so which is basically 3925 mm square. So hence the area provided are well within or well above the minimum reinforcement, and also development length criteria is also satisfied. Basically the length required for take care of the excess amount of load. So the bearing criteria is satisfied for column and pile. This phase is taken care of, but also we have to check for pile and the column face also. So let's see that in the point 7. Okay, so let's try to find out for the face of pile as well as pile cap. It is similar to that of the column and the pile cap. Here the reaction from the pile is coming up to be 1000 kilonewton. Now for the pile phase, if you are considering similar to the column phase, you have to take the same A1 and A2 for the pile phase. So as it is circular, so we have find out the area as this one, pi d square by 4. And here you can see the for pile cap, sorry, for the piles the grade was M30. So it is FCK pile is M30 is considered, and the maximum bearing strength of the pile phase is come out to be 13.5. Okay, now we will consider pile and the column. Here you can see that here similarly for column and pile cap face, here the A1 will be the support, that is support is basically the pile cap here. So here you can see, suppose we have a pile cap over here, this is the column, we have the pile, and you can see that spacing of the pile is basically 1200 here, and the total area that is actually covering, we are assuming that it is all along. Okay, that means a area of 400, that means a area of 1200 mm, sorry, the diameter of 1200 mm, this was 300, and a diameter of 1200, basically you can say that each pile, or you can say you can divide it. Let me clarify it. So the total area was 2400 here, and this is 2400 here. We have 4 piles, so if I divide it something like this, it becomes what? 1200, 1200, 1200, 1200. Basically the diameter is basically, you can say, of 1200, right? So this area is considered as a pile is circular, so the area is also considered circular with a diameter of 1200. So that is why this is considered as A1 is pi 1200 square by 4. And also for the pile, for the piles it is 300 mm. So this is for pile cap, this is for pile, and we are considering for pile cap phase, so it is 25, and A1 by A2 root over A1 by A2, if you see this 4, it should be is equal to 2, it should not be more than 2. So if you put the values, it becomes 22.5 itself. Now as you can see, the governing criteria is basically 13.5, right? The smaller one is 22.5, one is 13.5. So 13.5 is the governing case that should be taken. So what is the limiting bearing resistance over here? This is 13.5 into the cross section area of the pile, which is pi d square by 4, which is come out to be 953 kilonewton. And what is the reaction that is coming from the pile? That is 1000 kilonewton. So it is slightly less, which is the difference is around 46 kilonewton. So in that case, what we have to provide? We have to provide reinforcement, right? Just what we have done in case of the column as well as pile cap, column and pile cap. So here reinforcement should be provided, but the force is not that much. And basically in case of piles, the reinforcement, how many numbers of reinforcement is not provided in this question. So if it is provided, then you can check and you can see whether this development length is available to us or not. But as the load is very less, basically you can see that in case of a pile, minimum 6 numbers of bars is the minimum, that means this much of bars is all required. So then again, if you divide the total 46 kilonewton by 6, it comes out to be around 7, and again 7 kilonewton, and again if you divide it by the cross sectional area, it will convert it to stresses, and you will see the stress is very less. Okay, so without further doing or solving the problem, we can say that the reinforcement whichever we have in pile cap, that can be extended inside the pile cap, sorry, with the reinforcement that we have in a pile, that can be extended inside the pile cap to take care of this additional load of 46 kilonewton, and which should be sufficient to transfer the bearing stress or transfer the load without causing any failure due to bearing stress. Okay, so with this basically we can conclude our design. We have calculated the numbers of piles, then we have, from the shear criteria, we have find out what should be the uh, effective depth of the pile cap. Then we have calculated the bending stress. From the bending moment we have calculated the numbers of reinforcement that is required. Then we have looked or checked for the bearing stress as well. So considering all these cases, basically we have finally come to the conclusion that means for this kind of pile cap that we are designing, with our four numbers of piles, we have to provide the reinforcement which are of 16 mm. The reinforcement will be from along both the side, which is 16 mm at the rate 16 Thor at the rate, say, suppose 70 mm center to center, as well as if you see the cross section of the pile cap, then it will be something like this, where the bars will be put inside. Bars from the column will go inside the pile cap, and as well as the bars of the pile will go inside of the pile cap. Okay, like this. And also some side face reinforcement also will be provided, and the everything, the diagram will somewhat looks like this. So I would suggest you to look for how to provide the reinforcement in case of pile cap, and draw the required diagram for the plan as well as a section for this particular drawing. Okay, so with this I would like to conclude today's class. Thank you.